Well, good morning, my friends. Guessing you know where we're starting the day. That's right, our little buddy needs to warm up the legs. We're here at the park. Well, good morning, my friends. It's your old pal Jordan the Lion. How are you guys doing today? Well, we have an action-packed day. I wanted to kick it off by letting Ja have some playtime, and then I have a ton of stuff to do today. I want to go home. I'm going to get the juicer out, make some juice, and then I want to run some errands. I got a bunch of stuff to mail you guys. I did a live stream last night, and I ended up giving away, we found a way to give away the road trip blue sunglasses that I took on this Route 66 road trip with Breck. So I need to mail all that stuff out, and then we're actually going to do our vlog over in Hollywood. So it's going to be an action-packed day, but I know you guys are going to have fun because what the vlog is about today is a very infamous woman. A woman known for wearing many hats. Many, 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 many hats. Daze with Jordan the Lion begins now. What's up, dude? There's not a dog out here. Not one dog. This is prime time of the day. It's not too hot. The sun just came out. What gives, Hollywood? My goal today is I want to try and get every single piece of mail that I owe anybody out. I want to get it out of the house. I want to get it sent to them. And I'm actually doing a little surprise. My number one fan, Skylar, she's 5 years old. Her mom posted on the Facebook group last night that her mom started talking and Skylar said, "Shh, I'm watching Jordan." So I'm sending Skylar a few little gifts. Now we've got a few dogs here. And I also need to call the mechanic today. I want to see if the mechanic will, how much it will cost to get my fuel filter replaced. I think that might be why my car is having a little bit of issue going up hills when I'm trying to accelerate. Now he's found somebody to play with. A couple of dogs over here. Alright, if you're not going to play, we're going to call it a day because I got to go buy some bubble mailers to mail Vern Wood his birthday hat that I forgot to take with me on the road trip. He's anxiously awaiting. Ja, he's anxiously awaiting his hat. Ja's over there playing. One of the funny things he does is he kind of pulls a Bo Jackson move where he gets running so fast that his front legs can't keep up and he'll actually hit his chest and kind of roll over. Never really affects him, but that's pretty much what happened to Bo Jackson to end his career. He was running faster than his legs would allow him to and kind of overstepped himself.
And so you can walk up basically like a trail from here down to the beach.
Well, UPS just showed up, so let's open this one up. Oh, that is so cool. Thank you, Shelly Boone. There's 2 packs of these little dinner patty things. They're like dehydrated meat that Ja likes. But there was a Hollywoodland history book in there and a passport, a leather passport case. I thought it was probably a good idea because when I was in Paris, I was walking around so much that I sweat through my jacket and my passport was actually soaked, so put my passport in there. Thank you so much, Shelly Boone. Get it? Oh, you know that's for you, don't you? Look at you. And I just went down and got my mail, so we've got something in the mail from Amazon. Let's check it out. Oh, that is perfect. That is perfect. This is like a guide to just about anything that's been filmed in this town. I love stuff like this because this is the kind of stuff that I can just thumb through whenever I feel like it and then all of a sudden see something to go, oh, that's there, and I'll be inspired to go do it. So thank you so much. Let's see who it's from. Well, there was no note or anything inside. Usually they do, but sometimes they don't put something. I'm assuming this is from Jackie because Jackie had sent me a message saying that she sent me a book and to be on the lookout for it. So maybe this is from you, Jackie. I hope so. Wow, I can't believe I got them both. That's awesome. That's so inspiring. I love to just sit and like thumb through stuff at night, and that sometimes will inspire a vlog, so these will be great. I've long wanted to find a complete book on the history of Hollywoodland, especially because you just can't find a ton about it online, and there's so many questions I have, so these are both going to come in very, very handy. Thank you so much. I love stuff like this. Now, let's go ahead and make that juice so I can get it in the refrigerator and get it chilling, and then we're going to go off and do some of the errands and hit our location for the vlog today. I know I teased you a little bit. Some of you might have gotten the hint when I said woman of many hats, but some of you might not, so let's do the juice and let's go. Alright, first thing first, let's core those apples. Works pretty good, doesn't it? Alright, well, I think I'm going to start here. Generally, I mean, I'm always at a lack of space, but I generally like to start with the apples and the kill first because it kind of gets everything going through a little bit easier. Sometimes some things will, just the consistency of them kind of can gunk up the machine, so I found in the past that if I do the apples and the kale kind of early on, I don't have any problems. I don't know why that is, but let's do it. And then we'll put the celery, the cucumbers, the lemon, the carrots, all that stuff in. I'm trying to make double the normal amount, and this thing tends to hold that, so hopefully this thing will be filled up by the time we're done. All right, we're getting there. I haven't shown you everything I've been putting it in, but I'm just going at it to get it done, so we're about halfway there. Perfect. We got even more than I needed. Have a great life. Well, the reason that I started our vlog today with a close-up of the Hollywood sign is because our topic for today is a woman who not only loved Hollywood, but made her name synonymous with it. Talking about Miss Hedda Hopper. Now, Hedda Hopper is most notably known for being one of the most famous gossip columnists on Hollywood history, or Hollywood, from pretty much the early 1930s till her death in 1966. But there's a lot more to her story than that. Now, she was neither born Hedda nor Hopper, and she didn't change her name for entertainment purposes either. It's a pretty interesting story. She was actually born Elda Fury. And I'll tell you how she changed her name and why. You see, Hedda Hopper, early on being Elda Fury, wanted to originally be an actress and ran away from home, left Pennsylvania, and headed out to New York City, where she got a job as a chorus girl on Broadway. Now, one of the first jobs that she would get on Broadway, and apparently she wasn't all that great because there were quotes saying that she lost just about every dancing job she had, and even Florence Ziegfeld called her a clumsy cow when she auditioned to be in one of the Ziegfeld Follies. But she became a chorus girl and actually was working in a production with a matinee idol of the time named DeWolf Hopper. And DeWolf Hopper and Hedda, well, Elda, would eventually get married. And this building right here has a great story because this is actually the building that Hedda Hopper would eventually write all of her columns for almost 40 years in. So Elda Hopper became DeWolf Hopper's fifth wife, and his previous wives' names were Ella, Ida, Edna, and Nella. And because of all those names sounding so familiar, he would constantly call his wife Elda by the wrong name. So one day she went to a numerologist, paid $10, and asked the numerologist what she should change her name to make it easier to remember, and the numerologist told her Hedda, and she then became Hedda Hopper. So Hedda Hopper was actually becoming a pretty decently cast actress. She had graduated from doing theater to now being in silent movies, and she actually got her big break in 1917 because I guess apparently in those days with her contract you had to provide your own costume for the movie that you were in, and she was actually cast as a wealthy heiress in a movie and spent her entire salary, $5,000, on a dress by the designer Lucille from New York City. And this dress apparently was so spectacular looking in the movie that all of a sudden producers were tracking her down and wanting to hire her based off of her look in that movie. And so she would actually have a pretty decent career for a few years and amass a little bit of money, and then she would divorce DeWolf and just basically become a single mom. She had a son and would start taking care of her boy, and when the acting roles dried up, she tried to become an agent. She tried various things to make money, and then lost a lot of money in the stock market crash when the Great Depression happened. So she was working on some sets, doing kind of various jobs and trying to get other jobs, and people seemed to notice that she always knew the Hollywood gossip, and she was then invited or offered a job writing a Hollywood gossip column similar to Luella Parsons. Now what's strange is that Luella Parsons never really saw Hedda Hopper as a threat or anything, and never had any hard feelings, but and would even share sometimes information, share things that she was going to publish with Hedda Hopper when she was just starting out. But Hedda took it as a personal challenge to become the Queen of Hollywood, and then would basically go on to trash Luella Parsons as often as she could and start a arch rivalry that lasted both of their lives. Now, I mentioned Hedda Hopper being a woman of many hats, and I didn't just mean trying to be an agent, being an actress, being a gossip columnist, all those things. What I was actually referring to is her trademark became that she wore these gigantic, outlandish, flamboyant hats, and there were even songs. Spike Jonze and his City Slickers had a song about Hedda Hopper's hats, and she was always known for that. Every time you would see her on any kind of TV show, she always had this gigantic, gaudy hat, and they would actually kind of spoof her in various movies in the future with a character wearing those kind of crazy hats. Now, she also not only wrote a gossip column, she actually did it 6 days a week and did a Sunday column for the Chicago Examiner, I believe. So she was writing 7 days a week, but she also had a TV show that at one point was known as the Hedda Hopper Show, and then eventually it would become known as Hedda Hopper's Hollywood, just like her gossip column. Now, the building where she once wrote her column is actually right here, and it was originally, when Hollywood was founded, right here on the corner was the Methodist Church, and in 1910 the church was sold. Cecil B. DeMille and Charlie Chaplin would be credited as being investors eventually when they would start doing some of the renovations, and it's actually called the Guaranty Building. Now, right here's a little plaque that tells a little bit of the story of the Guaranty Building, and it says, "This Boart's office building was where famous entertainment columnist Hedda Hopper hung her hat. Built in 1923, it was one of the several palaces of commerce along the boulevard and was the second building on the boulevard to meet the height limit of the city. Charlie Chaplin and Cecil B. DeMille were investors in the building. The architects were John C. Austin and Frederick M. Ashley." And the reason I brought us over here, other than it being her building, was I actually walked by it the other day, and there's a really great mural inside. Her star for the Walk of Fame is actually out here, and she was actually notable for quite a few things that I want to kind of fill you in on as we do this. So if Luella Parsons was known as the nice gossip columnist, the one that people wanted to make deals with, Hedda Hopper was known as pretty much the opposite, and she actually became one of the focal people to start publicizing and accusing people of being communists during the McCarthy era when they were trying to out all these actors as being communists. She repeatedly would accuse Charlie Chaplin of it, and because of that, that was the reason that he actually was denied entry back into the United States after his trip in Europe in 1952. Well, I think I was wrong. I know her star is over here somewhere, but I was looking right in front of the building. I couldn't find it, so when I find it, I'll take us over to it. So this is actually one of these offices up here would have been her office. And some of the interesting things that made me want to do this vlog was that when I was reading up, I found a story about how she was so despised by some of the actors in Hollywood that Joan Bennett one year sent her a skunk for a Valentine's Day gift and said something to the effect of, "Nobody wants me because I stink," or whatever, and sent it to her. And then she actually, Hedda Hopper, wrote a story about that and published it, and then gave it to actor James Mason after she named the skunk Joan. And then there was a story about how Spencer Tracy was so mad that she was reporting about his affair with Katharine Hepburn that when he ran into her in a restaurant, he went up and kicked her in the butt. And another story was that Joseph Cotton, she had kind of exposed him having an affair with someone, and next time he ran into her, he acted like nothing was wrong, offered to pull out her chair, and then as she went to sit down, he just kept pulling the chair away, and she ended up falling on her rear end. Hedda was actually extremely politically inclined. She was like a big-time Republican advocate for the times, and her son was the actor who played Paul Drake on Perry Mason. Now, Hedda, unfortunately, well, she actually wrote her column all the way up till when she died, and she unfortunately died in 1966 of double pneumonia. But what was funny is that after her acting career ended and she started writing all the gossip columns and all that stuff, she ended up starting to get cast all the time in movies portraying herself gossip columnist Hedda Hopper. So I'd actually come by this building the other day and I was telling you I noticed there was a really interesting mural inside, but I loved all the detail and they were so nice when I came by the other day. They said I could come back and film it, so I'm gonna go in there and show you. There was like Cecil B. DeMille and a scene from The Chic in there. We'll check it out. So check this out. This was actually the lobby of the office building where Hedda's office was, where she wrote that column for like 40 years. Now, one of the things that I thought was pretty cool when I came in here the other day was that as I was looking at this, they started telling me that if you looked around the lobby, they actually kind of kept it as a historical landmark, and so it's exactly the way it was when the building was built in 1923. They said pretty much everything else, like above this, is different, but this is the same exact letterbox. That's the original letterbox and the original package pickup. How cool is that? And the original board for the Guaranty building itself. So let me show you the rest of the mural and then we'll head out of here. I don't know what office she was in, but as we saw up front, they've memorialized it as being one of, well, her main office. And you might know Hedda Hopper now because she's getting a little bit of talk now because she was a good friend of Joan Crawford's, and she was kind of responsible with Joan Crawford in conspiring against Bette Davis from getting the Oscar. So if you've been watching the movie Feud, or that miniseries Feud, they portrayed Hedda Hopper in that. Now that building is actually owned by Scientology, and that's like one of their main business offices and everything. So now we're going to go off and find Hedda's star on the Walk of Fame. And right here it is. And check that out. Hers is actually for being in film. Alright, now let's head to the post office and mail out all these goodies for you Lionhearts. Well, this will be interesting. Ugly dogs. Looks like it's going to be a version of a corn dog or something. Oh, nice motif. Well, right up here you can tell we missed out on one of the Walk of Fame ceremonies. No idea who it was either. I'm guessing it wasn't Walter Matthau or Jack Lemmon that I'm just looking at. The newest one over here looks like Gina Lollobrigida. Maybe it was that one. Did I miss that? This place right here is called the Scum and Villainy Cantina. It's a Star Wars themed bar, or it was. I kind of heard it got shut down recently. If any of you people watch Trailer Park Boys, there was a guy trying to sell a tour behind me that was talking exactly like J-Rock.
Agencies imposing themselves as governments.
Yep, just another day in Hollywood. Wouldn't be my town if somebody wasn't talking about shadow governments. I think they might want to consider giving Jesse Lasky a little bit of a makeover here, because this thing's looking pretty god-awful for a guy who helped form Paramount. Look at how trashy that is. All that stuff's broken up and dried out. Alright, stamped and ready to go. Alright, let's head to the dollar store. I need to get a few mailers. Like the big white padded ones. Oh, new Foo Fighters? Oh, that's right. I noticed on... What's up, Frankenstein? I noticed online that Weezer and Foo Fighters must be touring together because all of the Instagram for Weezer is both bands practicing together to do songs together. What's up, Dave Grohl? On the marquee for Amoeba, it says Fu Manchu's gonna be performing here. Looks like next Thursday. It's pretty cool, I like them. Bye. Wow, that used to be... Wow. So much for the BuzzFeed building. Well, at least I noticed that the Don Lee that was right beside it, that ABC Vine Theater, at least that's still there. They didn't get rid of that. Heavy drilling implied. Whoa, so that's how that happens. Oh, there's the tip. Alright, this is always an adventure. Alright, bingo. Alright, we're not stopping there, but we are done at the dollar store. I got everything I needed, ready to go home. Now this is freaking interesting. I keep noticing as I walk that this left shoe keeps sliding off. I'm starting to wonder if at the age of 36 years old I'm now realizing that one of my feet might be shorter than the other. Rogers. Well, my friends, if you hadn't heard of Hedda Hopper before today, or Hedda Hopper's Hollywood, I hope you enjoyed this. She was kind of the precursor to the National Enquirer, the Star Magazine, that kind of stuff. Except she was a little different because if you didn't voluntarily, as the star, tell her things so that she just knew it, and could protect you, sometimes if she found out on her own, she wasn't willing to protect you, so that was the price she paid. I wanted to do that today because this is the anniversary of her death. Since it's also Clark Gable's birthday, I know I mentioned it yesterday, but that's because you'd be watching that vlog today. But this is actually February 1st. It's his birthday, Brandon Lee's birthday. It's also the day that Hedda Hopper died, so I thought I'd mention all of them, and I've already done Brandon Lee's house that he passed away, and if you want to see that vlog, it was titled Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee. It was within probably my first 100 days. I wanted to thank Mary Spake for becoming my newest Patreon. If you want to become a Patreon, just go to patreon.com/JordanTheLion. All my links are in the notes below, and have a great night. Thank you for watching. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a great one. Goodbye.